What's going on, guys? Brian here, and before we actually dive into the lore post regarding the Varangian Knights, I want to highlight make sure you go and check out your Prime Gaming loot for New World if you haven't gotten so already. Link is in the description. But with that announcement out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the origins of the Varangian Knights. A day's journey from Everfall on the Oxborough Road was safer than those in the deeper than in the wilds. A few of us traveling the roads from Brightwood to Everfall had gathered over the course of the past hour as the setting sun's purple hues faded into the deep blue of the night. I was of the second to arrive, finding the encampment of a fur trader that I'd met along the road before. She had already started a fire, providing respite from the crisp evening air. I had joined, offering some ingredients from my pack, and we begun preparing a stew of vegetables and venison. Not long after that, a man nervously approached, claiming to be a blacksmith and appeared to be headed to Everfall to hone his craft. At first wary, but seemingly quite relieved to find the safety offered by the other travelers. When the last streaks of sun were barely visible, a fourth traveler strode into the camp, silent but confidently. Nodding politely and moving to warm his hands over the fire, he was bearded, and while clearly a man of few words, his eyes had knowledge or wisdom in them. We sat chatting on and off in the last hour or so as we enjoyed the stew under the rising moon. It was dark now, the sky a deep rich blue, moon gleaming and highlighted the wisps of clouds in the air. The fire crackled and my eyes tracked the trail of sparks ascended into the night, noticing the bright glow of the fire illuminating from nearby trees. I felt a knot begin to grow in my stomach. Normally, a larger fire would be good, keeping unwanted wolves and spectators away from the camp. Now the brighter glow and plume of smoke made you more visible to ruthless inhabitants new to these parts of Aeternum, the Varangian Knights, ruthless and cruel in their recent conquest. Anyone know exactly how far south the Varangian outpost is? I said, voicing my concern as the knot grew. My luck won't hold forever. I'd met them in battle before, and while largely unscathed so far, I had yet to cross swords with a knight of any renown. Even the foot soldiers amongst their ranks were clearly skilled in battle. In these parts, the fur trader gestured towards the scattered obelisk, just sitting into the sky to the south, before continuing. They're mainly down there, seemingly to be most interested in the ruins. Word has it they're searching for some form of advancement created by the ancients. The blacksmith nervously glanced up, meeting our eyes. That's not exactly what I heard, he said. They're expanding across Aeternum, and they seem to be looking for a few things. Relics, I've heard. Powerful artifacts hidden across the land. The bearded traveler nodded. Aye, that makes more sense, knowing their history. He's heard of them before, no adventurer I'd met had yet. What tales have you I inquired. My curiosity had been piqued. Before arriving here, the traveler's eyes scanned the wilds of Aeternum before setting back to the crackling fire. I took my pride in my knowledge to this world. These knights, as they call themselves, have carved a bloody path for themselves throughout the pages of history. They stared off the northern raiders, pillaging, stealing, and seeking riches across all corners of northern Europe. They seemed to be like other groups of Vikings throughout the years, but something changed after decades of expansion and stealing wealth from the northern countries. They seemed to become less interested in general control of the land, more focused on their attacks, like they were searching for something. Their hunger for the power shifted from control of the land to control of true power, power that transcends that humankind could achieve alone. Their raids began to target forces of the Byzantine Empire. Quite specifically, as strong as they were, they seemed unable to match the sheer numbers and large forces of the Byzantines. But they were cunning, and they realized there were other ways of achieving their goals. Not long after they attacked the group of their fiercest warriors to the Byzantine Empire, this group, cunning, bloodthirsty, and brutal, worked their way up the ranks, currying favor with the empires throughout history. They became an elite guard, often first into the fray. What many have seemed to think that they were leveraging the knowledge of the Byzantine Empire to acquire the artifacts of great power from all over the world, and it looks like that quest for power is what brought them into Aeternum's shores. The traveler paused, before uttering a final word. I see blood and battle aplenty in Aeternum's future. They're not ones to give up. If their ruthless raiding won't accomplish a goal, their cunning leaders will find another way. Worry was visible on a few of our faces around the fire. We sat in silence for a moment. A minute? No, 10. Eventually, I buckled my plate armor, pulled up my cloak tightly around my shoulders, and laid down my back to the fire. Just after shutting my eyes, a forlorn cry was carried faintly by the wind as it whispered throughout the towering trees above me and sided through damp grass below. My muscles tensed as shivers shot up my spine. A wolf's howl, or something else. Judging by the distance, it mattered not. I let out my breath, relaxed my body, and mind quickly moved on. A cruel and cunning foe, greater cunning than the Syndicate, more battle prowess than the Marauders, and deeper knowledge possessed by the Covenant of ancient sources of power and holy artifacts. For once, a haunting sound of Aeternum's night were a secondary concern. I could only focus on the implications of the traveler's tale as I lay, feigning sleep. And with that, we come to our conclusion of this lore post. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Like, favorite, subscribe, and share. If you did, it's a great way to help out the channel itself. And always leave a comment, because that's a great way to also continue to help that engagement. But again, no pressure. You do you, only if you feel like I earn it. That's all I ask. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. And like I said, hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to destiny. I'm off with a clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.